Hey there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we try our best to find the most interesting and factual information.
I do apologize in advance if you hear some cat sounds in the background during the recording of this episode. Would you like to explain a little bit what kind of cat sounds we're dealing with today?
Today's cat sounds are brought to you by pull string from a sweater that the cat found and is now his favorite thing in the whole house.
He has this weird thing with drawstrings where I think he must be pulling them out of stuff.
Maybe.
Because they'll be from like sweatpants or sweatshirts or something. Somehow he ends up in the possession of just the drawstring and it becomes his soulmate. He cannot be separated from this string. And he's been doing this for like 2 months now.
Yeah.
And what he'll do is he will drag them around the house. He tries to bring them to wherever we are. And then he just crouches over the string and makes the most dreadful yowling sound. So if you may be able to hear, I don't know if the microphones will pick it up, but he will be probably doing that the entire time that we are talking in here.
There's some cat baggage there that I'm not particularly interested in unpacking, but
so weird. He's obsessed with these drawstrings. This is the second one he's done it to, too.
that can just be our little household mystery.
What a weird cat. I want to let listeners know up top. First of all, we had a bonus episode go up last week, which was Christian and I talking about Death Claws from the Fallout games. So if you would like to hear that, if you are already a Maximum Fun member, that is already up in your bonus feed. You can go listen to it right now. If you're not already a Max Fun member, head over to MaximumFun.org/join and sign up for a membership. As little as $5 a month gets you access to all of our bonus episodes, including ones we already did.
And those coming.
Yeah, and all the ones, because we're doing monthly bonus episodes from now on.
Yeah.
So lots to tune in for. So if you want to hear that, go check that out in the Maximum Fun bonus feed. Also, I have some really cool little like bonus fun facts that a lot of listeners have sent in, especially after our last episode together on the zebra and the honey badger. And I will be reading those at the end of the episode.
Oh, good.
Yes, I'm very excited to share them with you. So, Christian, it is your turn to go first this episode.
Yeah. So this week, we'll be talking about the diving bell spider.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
This is such a weird animal. We've got such weirdos this week. I'm so excited. It's a return to form. We're so back.
Scientific name, Argyroneta aquatica.
The sequel to Subnautica.
50% more spiders. Now, this animal was submitted by Sean Renning. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
And I'm getting my information from Animal Diversity Web and some other things along the way.
Animal Diversity Web. Hey!
There it is. This spider, males are 7.8 to 18.7 millimeters long, or 0.3 to 0.7 inches.
Oh, they're too little.
And females are 7.8 to 13.1 millimeters long, or 0.3 to 0.5 inches. Now, that kind of sexual dimorphism is peculiar for spiders. Usually the females are bigger. A little bit more on that later.
Okay.
These can be found in Europe and Asia, including isolated subpopulations in Japan.
That's tragic. I have no shot at seeing them anywhere near me.
I know, and I have some thoughts on that. This is the only spider known to live its entire life underwater, as the name might give away.
So, not sea spiders.
Not sea spiders.
Not
no.
sea spiders. Are sea spiders something different?
I don't know what I thought you were just making it up. I don't know what you mean by sea
No,
spiders.
sea spiders are a real thing. Hold on, real quick.
Are you talking about crabs?
No, I'm not. I know what crabs are, Christian. Jeez. Okay, sea spiders. I had to Google this because there was no way I was going to come back and edit this in. Sea spiders are marine arthropods of the order Pantopoda. So no, they're not crabs. They're not spiders. They're just their own thing. But they do look a lot like spiders, which is some interesting convergent evolution. But I guess they are not arachnids at all. So
Okay.
So I guess the diving bell spider does retain the title of the only aquatic spider.
Take that. I actually couldn't find any relatives that I recognize. There's a lot.
Oh.
There's just a lot of spiders in general. But there wasn't anything I like, oh, I know what this is, or oh, I've heard of this before.
How many types of spiders do you think you could name off the top of your head?
Ooh, 5 to 10 perhaps.
Yeah, I think probably It's probably about all I've got in me, too.
Well, there are thousands.
Yeah, there's a billion of those, dude. So I feel like you could give me a whole list. You'd be like, look at all these spiders they're related to. I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What was interesting is I was looking at a list of related spiders, and most of them didn't even have common names listed.
I love that.
It was just all scientific names.
Can I tell you my favorite spider scientific name? Hotwheels sisyphus.
Huh.
It doesn't have a common name because why would you need one if the scientific name is Hotwheels sisyphus? That's obviously all anyone's going to call it because that's such a cool name.
Mm-hmm. That brings us to our first category of effectiveness. In this one, we're talking about physical attributes that help them do the things that they are doing. And for the diving bell spider, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Very good.
They have some interesting physical adaptations, but where they really shine is how they use them, which is our next category. But while we're talking about effectiveness, though, one thing that they have that helps them is hydrophobic hairs on their abdomen.
Tell me about this. What does hydrophobic mean?
Yes. First, can you double check I'm talking about the right part of the spider? The abdomen is the big round part.
I'm pretty sure it is. Hold on. Google's getting a workout today. Yeah, the abdomen's the butt.
Okay, great. So
the gat of the spider.
So hydrophobic typically means just repels water. I like to think of that stuff called Rain X that you can spray on your car's windshield that makes water bead and fall off real easy.
Yeah.
If you have a fresh application of it, supposedly you don't even need windshield wipers because it just beads and falls off quickly. I would never try that. But
some animals that spend time in the water have like hydrophobic hairs.
Yeah.
They have hairs or feathers or, whatever it is on their body.
A lot of times they're designed to trap air, which keeps the water from, like in sea otters' case, from coming in contact with their skin. Mm-hmm. And that has to do with heat conservation and buoyancy, I think. I mentioned that odd size difference earlier between males and females. That's thought to be because of differing needs. So the males appear to do more active swimming while females spend more time in their diving bell.
In their diving bell?
Yeah.
I mean, if I had a diving bell, I'd spend a lot of time in it too.
I feel like I need to jump ahead to ingenuity to even talk about that stuff.
Do it. I'm not stopping you. This is your segment.
I'll mention it briefly. So what this spider is known for is it creates little structures underwater between water plants using their silk to make what you can think of as like a dome or like an upside down bowl that has an air pocket in it.
Like Sandy's dome from SpongeBob.
Sure. But imagine if that dome were lifted up off the ground, but the air doesn't have anywhere to go. So it stays as a bubble within the dome, right?
Right. You can create something like this if you just if you've ever held a cup underwater, it'll trap air underneath.
Yeah. So both males and females make these. It just appears that males spend more time out of them doing active hunting, whereas the females usually stay more so in their diving bell. So that size difference has some effects on things like buoyancy, being able to swim through the water, that kind of thing. So
I imagine if they're bigger, that's more surface area, right? That's going to be in contact with the water.
Right. So it's thought to help the males in that they do more swimming. Their diet includes things like water fleas, aquatic isopods, insect larvae, including mosquitoes, fairy shrimp, and other water spiders, of course.
Oh, imagine you think oh no, I need to hide my larva from the spiders. I know, I'll go somewhere spiders would never go, under this water. Surely I'll be safe down here. Oh no. They've developed technology.
They punch in the water right now. Another interesting thing is their pH tolerance.
Oh.
So they can live in water with low pH and low dissolved oxygen levels where many predatory fish cannot.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because they otherwise would also be subject to be eaten by larger fish.
True.
Now, that in turn makes their limiting of insect larvae even more important because insect larvae will also put theirs there, hoping to not get eaten by predatory fish.
Nobody wants to get eaten by predatory fish.
But now you have the spider that can be there and do the eating.
no.
So that helps keep things under control, like mosquitoes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyone that's ever lived near a pond will tell you about mosquitoes
in water. You know what we don't have here in North America?
Oh, gosh.
Diving bell spiders.
Oh, why couldn't they be an invasive species here? Everything else is. Bring some of those over. Just sprinkle them in your pond.
There you go.
And then you'll need to like introduce a fish to eat the spiders, and you'll need to introduce like something else to eat the fish. And
then the last thing on effectiveness I want to talk about is, of course, their spider silk. They belong to a family of spiders that make like a not very neatly organized web that is usually on the ground.
Maybe a modern art kind of web.
Yeah. So definitely not the ones that you see in like trees that are very geometric and things.
It's an abstract web.
Yeah. So that brings me to the ingenuity topic.
Yes, please.
Which I'm going to give a full 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Just gotta. So here's what they do. So we talked about what that diving bell is.
Yes.
So maybe your question is, how did the air get down there in the first place?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, I guess so. I guess because, okay, I'm thinking about if you want to build an underwater base in Minecraft, like you have to like build the structure and then remove the water from it, right? Or like...
That's one way. So let's talk about how real-world diving bells that humans use work.
Please. I have literally no clue.
Yes. So the way it works is you have this pocket of air that's, probably close to the bottom of whatever body of water you're in, and whoever's down there can, use that pocket of air to replenish their air supply or do whatever work they need to do underwater. Mm-hmm. So there's two ways to go about that. So, of course, you talked about, if you're in a bathtub and you have a cup, you just start with a cup full of air and push it down.
Yeah, you just push the air down.
Right.
Why don't we take the air and push it somewhere else?
Yeah. So that's one way to go about it. And that's how many of them work, where it just starts at the surface and then it gets weighed down using a ballast that's usually attached to the bottom.
Yeah, if you can't make your own air, store-bought is fine.
Right. Now, a lot of times that's done with people already in the bell, or they swim down to the bell, what have you. And that's fine. So, but here's the thing. As that bell goes lower and lower into the water, the pressure increases and that compresses that air pocket.
Oh, does it really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. I guess I've never pushed air down that far.
Because the pressure between the air and the water wants to equalize. Right? They want to be equal. So to accomplish that, the air compresses.
So you're going to get less and less air as you go down.
Less volume of air.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Now, also, when you have divers in there using the air, they're taking in oxygen and putting out carbon dioxide, right?
So, not sustainable.
Right. So one of the ways we get around that is pumping air down into that bell, which requires usually this is being lowered off of a ship or something, and it might have some hoses coming from that ship that is pumping air down into the bell.
Why not just a giant straw?
Because if it wasn't actively pumping air, the air would then escape that straw and the bell would fill up with water.
Oh. That's right. Now that you say that, straws do that. That is how straws work when you push them into the water. Now that you say that out loud, I feel kind of silly.
No, it makes sense. So yeah. That it has to actively press air or be stopped up. Otherwise, the air will escape the bell and then the bell will fill up with water. So they'll pump air down there to replenish the oxygen, even to the point where, that air pocket is spilling over the edges of the bell and bubbling up into the surrounding water.
I mean, I guess you'd rather have too much air than not enough.
So that's how diving bells work with humans. So with spiders, they're not big enough or strong enough, right, to construct a bell and then push it down. That's a lot of buoyant force.
That's true. And also they don't have hoses and air compressors.
Right. So here's what they do instead. They build that structure underwater using their silk, between some plant stems or something. And then what they'll do is they'll swim back up to the surface, stick their abdomens into the air, and then dive back down. And now they have a bubble of air stuck to their abdomen.
Oh, a literal bubble butt.
Yes. So they'll swim that bubble down to their bell and break that surface tension to release the bubble under their bell. And they'll keep doing that over and over again, however many times they need to.
Just to fill up the air tank.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. That seems annoying.
But very few things are come down to get you there.
That's true. I guess, you put in the work.
Yeah. So they build the structure and then they use that structure to do things like eating prey. So they can go hunt things in the water, of course, but the way that their anatomy works in eating is they have to bring it back into that air bubble to eat it.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about how, the hydraulics of spiders, work in, their body relies on,
I think it has more to do with injecting the, saliva and such and then sucking out the contents. That doesn't work underwater.
Interesting.
Not particularly well, I think. So they have to drag their prey back into their diving bell.
It's kind of funny to me that they're like, okay, we're physically incapable of eating underwater. We can't even really survive underwater that long. Instead of adapting our body to the water, we'll bring the land down with us.
This is very human of them. Now, I mentioned males will actively hunt. Females, what they'll do is they will ambush things as they come close to the bell. So they'll stick their legs into the water and they'll wait for something to get by and they'll just snatch them out of the water.
Oh, see? Smart. So good. She's ordering DoorDash.
And the digestion has to take place inside the bell.
They bring it right up to her door. They drop it off on the porch.
Yeah. Now, the eggs that the females lay are laid and hatched in that bell as well. And even the young grow up in that bell. And the young will leave on their own after their fourth molt. So they're serious when they say like their whole lives are in the water here.
Wow.
Yeah. Even though they have all the anatomy they would need to be on land.
That's really interesting. Like not seeing any like drastic anatomical adaptations to being underwater.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. We're just going to do it down here in a place where we're clearly not meant to be doing this. What remarkable engineering.
Right.
From a little critter.
It's neat. They do an underwater mating display.
No.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So the male will swim into a female's bell, chases her out.
What?
They do a swimming courtship, and then they return to the bell to mate.
Okay. I guess you might hear wedding bells.
Oh my goodness. That's got to be the quota. Now, however, if the male jumps into the bell and the female is not interested, she will aggressively run the male out of her home.
She's like, absolutely not, sir.
Get out.
We are not doing this.
But then the female does get to the point of laying eggs. That egg sac will take up half of the space in her bell.
Oh, no.
And it's separated from the rest of the bell by a partition.
Oh.
So like in the upper partition of her bell will be the egg sac, and the lower partition is where she will stay.
She's got like a multi-floor. She's got like a palace. She's got rooms.
Yeah.
That's wild to me. She's got a nursery. She built a nursery.
Yeah. And they also do winter hibernation in this bell. So they will build even deeper bells to hibernate in. And sometimes the males will even use empty snail shells.
Now, see, that's a good idea. Because, like, there you go. It's already made for you.
Right.
I love that they have a summer home. Like what? They have like a vacation home. This is my vacation bubble that I come down to.
Now, I didn't see this mentioned specifically, but if I had to guess, probably what's going on with that hibernation is their metabolism gets slowed so far down that they don't need to keep refilling their oxygen supply. Like the bubble is enough to probably last them for their hibernation.
I guess they would probably have to do that if the water they're in freezes. Because if it's frozen, they're not going to be able to get up to the top to get air anyway.
Maybe.
Because you said they live in Europe, right? If they live far north enough, it probably freezes sometimes.
Well, the going deeper would also help avoid freezing waters.
That's true. But you mentioned that they have to get up to the surface to get air.
True.
So like if it's frozen, you're out of luck.
They have a narwhal problem, perhaps. Without the horn.
Yeah.
Or tooth.
No tools for that.
So yeah, very interesting. And a little bit more on how actual diving bells work. I'm getting this information from the website for the University of Hawaii at manoa.hawaii.edu. So in Europe, the first diving bells were used in the 1600s. In 1690, English scientist Edmund Halley of comet fame.
Oh, the comet guy.
Yes, I think it's Halley, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like it could be pronounced Halley.
I've always heard it Haley.
Yeah. So Halley designed one that involved two barrels. So one much larger barrel, that's the primary one where the divers would hang out in, but also a second one that's meant for refilling. So both were weighed down in order to not float back up. And it involved leather hoses connecting the barrels. So there was a leather hose that would go from the main barrel out to a diver, and then a leather hose connecting the main barrel to the refill barrel. So the idea is they would sink down these refill barrels to resupply the air, like the oxygen within the main bell.
And where would they plug in the Xbox controller?
Yikes.
Does the 17th century not seem like way too early for people to be messing around like that deep underwater?
Apparently it goes even further back, but that's the one most closely related to modern day diving bells.
Oh, okay.
So they would use these for things like shipwrecks, like to try and get back at like,
of course,
treasure and things.
Got to get that money, like get that bag.
Yeah.
No greater motivator for innovation than getting my money back.
Yeah, basically. Now, the way all of this affects the human body is also very interesting and perhaps beyond the scope of this episode. But it's very interesting because the way the diving bell works, your body is still under the same pressure as if you were scuba diving at that depth.
I guess I would have assumed that you're in the air. That's land rules. Like, it's nothing.
Yeah, but now that air is compressed far greater than it is at surface level.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that.
So just like with scuba diving, they have to alter the mix of the air, like so that your body doesn't have like nitrogen or carbon dioxide problems, that kind of thing.
Right.
But in the same way, it has to be carefully taken care of when you come back up from a depth like that, because you have to slowly do it to slowly lower the pressure that you're experiencing. Otherwise, what happens is so imagine a Coke bottle. Mm-hmm. It has dissolved carbon dioxide in it.
Right.
When you open it, it depressurizes quickly and bubbles form.
Oh, you don't want that happening.
You don't want that inside your body.
No.
So if you do it slowly, then that lets your body kind of expel it slowly and naturally through breathing, right? Otherwise, big problems.
Right, yeah. You cannot surface too quickly when you're diving.
Yeah.
Bad time.
So with that kind of old diving bell, that means they would have to depressurize you by slowly raising it, right? Mm-hmm. And today's modern diving bells, what they can do is...
They still have diving bells?
Yes.
I feel like we have better tools now.
It's pretty good. So the modern ones, of course, are made of metal and attached to winches on a ship or something. And they have like electrical wires and hoses and things that run between them. But a big difference is they're sealable, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because what that means is they can seal it up when they're ready to come back up. And instead of depressurizing you in the ocean, they can pull up that whole compartment onto the ship and then just slowly depressurize you on the ship.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's much safer.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know that was even an option, but this is my depressure chamber.
Yeah. Now that requires material that can withstand that difference in pressure.
True.
Because that means
carbon fiber's out.
Because it's not the overall pressure you have to be worried about, it's the pressure differential.
Right.
The pressure difference between the inside of that capsule and the outside of the capsule.
Oh, yeah. It can't be flexing like against itself.
Or it'll explode.
Or implode.
Yeah. Depending on which way the differential is going, I guess. That would have been impossible in the 1600s with wooden diving bells, but
yeah, that seems ill-advised.
But now they're made of steel and metal and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So very interesting. Lots to look into if that interests you, listener.
I had no idea people were still using diving bells.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed so like steampunk, like Jules Verne kind of stuff. Like I did not know they were still used.
There's one I saw a video of that is in Germany, which is basically, imagine a big cup on the end of a crane, and they just push that sucker down, pumping air into it so they can get to the bottom of like a riverbed or something. And there's like a ladder that goes down into it.
Nice.
So it's like they're walking along the bottom of a riverbed, like there's fish and stuff flopping around.
Oh no! Oh, can you imagine being that poor fish?
Yeah.
Just suddenly land. That must be so disorienting for that poor fish. Like, what? I don't know how to explain this to you guys. The world was gone.
So they used, in this particular video I saw, they used it to recover an anchor from a boat that had got disconnected and was becoming a hazard for other ships in that river. There
is not a dollar amount on this earth that I could be paid to go down in something like that. Mm. It would never happen. There's not a chance ever.
Yeah, it can go wrong.
It's the claustrophobia for me. You know what I mean? Like being like in a confined space and knowing that like if literally anything goes wrong, I will be immediately dead. Like I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm never going to space. I'm never going to the bottom of the ocean. It's not happening for me.
Yeah. It's all very interesting though. Just like space though, you think of like an airlock. Mm-hmm. There are some capsules out there that will, instead of the whole vessel needing to be pressurized, will instead have a particular airlock that has to be pressurized to exit out through something like a moon door, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's not always the air question that is your biggest threat.
That brings us to our last category of aesthetics. 6 out of 10.
How okay. What does the spider look like? Does it look like a normal spider?
It looks like an absolutely normal, ordinary spider.
Huh.
If it weren't underwater and had a bubble around it, I wouldn't think of any different from other spiders.
And that's what's so surprising to me, right? Like, this is an enormous adaptation, like a huge deviation from the regular, like, spider lifestyle, I guess. You would expect them to be, like, physically very noticeably different from terrestrial spiders. But no, they're like, no. We're going to keep doing it. They've got like Spider Atlantis down there.
Yeah. Now, given this, that air bubble gives their abdomen a shiny metallic look underwater.
That's very good.
Yeah. So I don't know. A spider just one day just saw that, pond full of predatory fish and said, I bet there's something tasty in there.
I got to get down there right now. Don't mind if I do. It's free real estate.
Yep. And then to wrap things up, there's no special status for conservation. Although I read some things here and there about them being threatened in local populations. So being protected in some places.
I guess being reliant on like water quality, and especially if they're like reliant on oxygen in the water. But then you mentioned that they're like pretty pH tolerant and hardy.
They're pretty good about that. So probably pollution and I would imagine maybe overuse of pesticides, perhaps, like especially if they're targeting mosquito larvae.
Right.
So, and then finally, Pokemon.
Yes, absolutely.
So there is a Pokemon based off the diving bell spider, and that's where I hand it off to you.
Okay, I'm not even looking. You can see I'm not looking at notes.
Nope.
This is off the dome. Dewpider and Araquanid. So it's Dewpider evolves into Araquanid.
Okay.
But it's really funny because they're a reversal of the diving bell spider.
Right.
They live on land and carry a little bubble of water like around their head, like a reverse astronaut helmet. They have like a big bubble of water around their head that they breathe out of.
Like when SpongeBob and Patrick have to wear bowls of water when they go into Sandy's bubble.
Yes, exactly. So they're like a reversal of the diving bell spider, which I think is hilarious. It is so funny. And it's actually so funny because we planned on you doing the diving bell spider for this week's episode, and yesterday I caught a Dewpider on Pokemon Go for the first time. I'd never seen one before in the entire game. And I kind of had to trespass a little bit to get to it because I could see the Pokestop that it was at. And the Pokestop that it was at was only accessible in this church parking lot. And the church parking lot was gated, but one of the gates was open. So I went into the parking lot and I parked to catch the Dewpider. And while I was catching it, this guy came up to the car and was like, he had a very thick accent, and he was like, "Hello, Church of Blessing," and I was like, "Oh, I'm leaving." I was like, "Sorry to bother you," because this was like the middle. It was like 10 a.m. on like a Monday, so I was like, "Oh, sorry, but I didn't want to admit. Sorry, I'm just catching Pokemon here." I was like, "Oh, I just was turning around. See you later." And he was like, "Okay," and like waved at me, and I drove away.
That can't have been the first time that's happened.
But I did it for the Pokemon, and I did get that Pokemon. So,
and don't they have an avenue for people that want to remove a Pokestop from their like place of business or whatever?
Yes, you certainly can remove a Pokestop if you don't want people trespassing. Yeah. And the gate was open. It's not like I had to say anything to anybody. It was just that one of their gates was closed and one of them was open, so I went through the open one.
All right.
I didn't think the guy was going to come ask me about it. I was okay.
No harm, no foul.
No, it was fine. I love the diving bell spider, though. Actually, it's so funny because that Pokemon was how I learned about the existence of the diving bell spider. I had never heard of them before.
Okay.
Pokemon is putting the work in. Pokemon is like spreading the word. You can learn some legit stuff from Pokemon.
They have that animal in Japan, so it makes sense that they're maybe more aware of it than the average American, for example.
Right. There are a lot of like Pokemon designs are based on like deep cut, like ecology and obscure like animals that I'm always very, very impressed by the animal representation of Pokemon. Well, thank you, Christian. That was awesome. Let's take a quick break to hear from our friends on the Maximum Fun Network, and then we'll get to my animal.
All right.
I'm Sequoia Holmes, pop culturist and host of the Black People Love Paramore podcast. Contrary to the title, it is not a podcast about the band Paramore. Each episode, I, along with a special guest co-host, dissect one pop culture topic that mainstream media doesn't associate with Black people, but we know that we like. Tune in every Thursday to the podcast that's dedicated to helping Black people feel more seen here on Maximum Fun.
I'm Yucky Jessica.
I'm Chuck Crudsworth.
And this is Terrible,
a podcast where we talk about things we hate that are awful.
Today we're discussing Wonderful, a podcast on the Maximum Fun Network.
Hosts Rachel and Griffin McElroy, a real-life married couple,
Yuck!
discuss a wide range of topics. Music, video games, poetry, snacks.
But I hate all that stuff.
I know you do, Yucky Jessica.
It comes out every Wednesday, the worst day of the week, wherever you download your podcasts.
For our next topic, we're talking Fiona, the baby hippo from the Cincinnati Zoo.
I hate this little hippo.
So, what have you got for us, Ellen?
This week, I'm talking about oarfish.
Oh, I love these things.
Yes. What is it? What do they say in Animal Crossing when you catch one? Like, wish there were more fish or something like that? It's always a little pun.
My island fell into a sad state long ago.
My island? Our island, your corner of our island fell into a state of disrepair and is now sort of like hazmated off.
See, that's how long it's been. I didn't even remember that we had a shared island.
Yes, you and me and Isaac, and you and Isaac have these like, you know how like in The Lion King, Mufasa's like, everything the light touches is our domain. And Simba's like, what about that dark place over there? And Mufasa's like, those are the Shadowlands. You must never go there. That's your house on my island.
It's like on the beach too, isn't it?
It's right on the beach. It could be, you and Isaac both made your houses on the beach. I could have such a cute little beach spa build, but no, there's your house with like a AC unit and a basketball hoop.
I was at that phase where I had very few things, so I was just using everything.
It's like a lawnmower. Just like out in front of your house. You and Isaac both have the most insane stuff in front of your house.
How am I going to mow the sand?
Anyway, oarfish can be caught in Animal Crossing. There are two species of oarfish in the genus Regalicus. I'm going to kind of be talking about them both because they're very similar. And oarfish were submitted by Agnes Aris. I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name incorrectly, but Agnes actually in their email that they sent in included a photo of an oarfish that they crocheted.
Wow.
It is so cute. Mm-hmm. It is very, very good. And also requested by Lincoln.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Also, weirdly, sent in these requests for oarfish like within a day of each other. And so it had me thinking, like, is there some news about oarfish going around right now? From what I could find, seems to be a complete coincidence, but it felt like a sign to me.
I know they do pop up on the news sometimes when a particularly big one is found.
I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm getting my information from a lot of different places, including the Florida Museum, the Ocean Conservancy, an interview with Dr. Russ Vetter, who is a geneticist and physiologist with NOAA's Southwest Fisheries Science Center. NOAA is like the ocean and weather administration of the United States. And that was on the NOAA Fisheries podcast On the Line. And that was broadcast in October of 2013. And also papers that I'll cite as they come up. Now, if you've never heard of an oarfish, you don't know anything about them. This is the longest bony fish, by which I mean the longest fish if you exclude sharks. The longest confirmed length of an oarfish is 36 feet.
Wow.
Which is about the length of a school bus. Mm-hmm. Now, some sightings have been reported estimating lengths at around 50 feet, which is like, okay, sure. You know, like who hasn't said, oh yeah, I saw one, it was 50 feet long. You know what I mean? Like...
Fishermen never exaggerate. I don't know what you're talking about.
Clearly, you know, so you have to kind of take that stuff with, but the longest confirmed one was 36 feet long, which is huge.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that they're sort of eel shaped. So this is a fish that is extremely long, but not very large in any other dimension.
Right.
Long, skinny, sort of eel shaped.
Ribbony.
Yeah, ribbony is a great word because they are also, it's called laterally compressed, which means they are also skinny. To me, they look like a sword blade, like the blade of a very, very long knife, maybe. Mm-hmm. And they're found in oceans all over the world, usually in the twilight zone of the ocean, which is between 200 to 1,000 meters, which is about 650 to 3,200 feet. So pretty deep, but not like the deepest. It's like a little bit deep. It's like the second layer down of like depth of the ocean. This is the part of the ocean where there is still some light, but much less than the surface. So it's like 1% of light reaches the twilight zone, but not none, but a little.
Yeah.
Now, oarfish, like I mentioned, they're long, ribbony. The sort of characteristics that set them apart that tell you it's an oarfish when you're looking at one, they have this silver, shiny skin. It's smooth, it's very reflective, and they have these bright red, very ribbony fins. They have these long red spines that form a really dramatic crest on top of their head that looks like the spines you might see on, like, I'm thinking of like an iguana or like they're very reptilian dragon looking crest on top of their head. And these spines kind of run down the length of their body on the back. So it gives us this, like you mentioned, like a ribbon, like down its back of red. And then their pectoral fins are these really long, thin, kind of wiry looking red fins that end in a fleshy paddle shape that gives them the oar name. Like their pectoral fins look like big, red, skinny oars.
I see.
Very distinct when you see them. Wouldn't mistake it for anything else.
I would still be startled if I suddenly found myself next to something this big.
I would cry and pee. Fluids exiting.
Sea cucumber defense.
Okay, so to get into the effectiveness for oarfish, now I'm going to need y'all to hear me out. I need you to come on this journey with me. I hate to do this, but I do have to roast the oarfish. I'm sorry. I have to drag them mercilessly. I'm giving them a 4 out of 10 for effectiveness.
Okay.
And this is maybe the harshest I've ever done. But hear me out. Okay, bro has no teeth, no scales, no homies. Like, what do you have? So they don't have any teeth because all they eat are tiny little invertebrates like plankton and krill. So they're kind of like slurping all these tiny little prey into their mouth. They don't really need teeth to chew them up with. Now their face is like if a pug were like a fish. It just ends in this blunt edge. There's like a 90-degree drop from their forehead down to their face.
It reminds me of the dolphin fish.
Yeah, has that kind of like shape to it.
Yeah.
But then there's this really weird sort of shape to their mouth where it almost like tilts upward, like a pug. Like the best way I can describe it is like a pug. But the mouth can actually unfold to protrude out of the head, like a sort of like a go-go gadget mouth. They can sort of like
a goblin shark type thing?
Yes. Yeah, a lot like that. So they can kind of like zoop their mouth out of their face.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
This is like a common trait for their family. So there's like a lot of other fish that have a mouth like this. And actually a lot of fish just have a sort of protrusible, I don't know the word, a mouth that can like kind of protrude, but this is like a very exaggerated version of it. They also don't have any scales. They are instead covered in a very shiny silvery material called guanine. And if that sounds familiar, that is the material also used to give cosmetics a like pearly sort of shimmer, like a sheen. It's a very like reflective material. So this helps make their skin very reflective, so when the light shines on them, if they catch like any amount of light at all, it is being reflected like a mirror. Which it's like those like high vis sort of like vests, or like if you are going out and doing something at night, you might have like a reflective stripe on like your clothes or something. Like a backpack might have like a reflective stripe on it. And that is possibly to disguise their silhouette when the light hits it. Like the light could be reflecting and like making it break up their silhouette, so you can't really tell what you're looking at. So in a lot of ROV footage, which is like most observations of oarfish are from like ROV footage, which is, by the way, a remote operated vehicle.
Yes.
It's like a submarine, but there's not people on it. It's just like, it's like a little camera robot basically that's just swimming around in the ocean.
Submarine in the ocean, but the Xbox controller is up on the ship still.
Yes. Maybe they should have done that. So in ROV footage, it looks like the oarfish is glowing. So you'll see a lot of people say online that like they glow, like the whole fish glows. That's not necessarily the case, because the light you see on their body is just reflected from like the light from the ROV. But they do have bioluminescence. It's just not like, that's not what it is. Like what you're seeing is the reflection of the lights off of their body. Now, where they do have bioluminescence is in the fleshy paddles on those long pectoral fins, the little fleshy bits at the end have bioluminescence. They glow.
Oh.
Yeah. But it glows like 20 feet away from the rest of their body.
Oh.
Which I think is, okay, with a lot of deep sea creatures, there's going to be a lot of unknowns, right?
Sure.
There's going to be a lot of mysteries, especially an animal like this that really isn't observed alive very often. So we don't get to really see them in their element that much. So I couldn't really find a solid answer on this. But if I had to guess why the bioluminescence is only in these stringy fins really far away from the rest of their body, it's probably to distract predators.
Right.
Like you get a predator to like bite onto the end of your fin that's very thin and easy to detach, and then you can leave.
It's like that butterfly who has a modified wing to look like a head.
Oh yeah, or like the Luna moths, right? Where the tails on the backs of their wings will just tear right off.
Right.
I think that's why it is. Like I couldn't find any solid sort of explanation for that. That's just the one that makes the most sense to me personally. Oh, and I also had the idea that maybe Agnes could consider putting some little LED lights in the crocheted oarfish. I think that would be cute. A couple little lights in there that you could turn on to make their fins glow. I think that would be cute. Okay, so that they have no teeth, they have no scales. Their stance, whack. It is ridiculous. So the oarfish will usually swim by popping the sickest wheelie imaginable and orienting themselves vertically in the water column. So like if you imagine the way a normal fish swims, you tilt that 90 degrees and they're facing their entire body straight up.
But what is their direction of motion relative?
They're still, this is the goofy part. They are still moving forward.
Oh,
like,
man.
As in, so the way they do it is so silly. They orient themselves vertically, so face pointing up towards the sky. And this is not like the barrel eye, right? Where like only the head points or only the eyes point up and the rest of the body is doing a normal fish thing.
Yes.
The whole fish, the whole 30-foot long fish is pointing straight up at the sky. And they use their dorsal fin. They like undulate their dorsal fin to propel them forward through the water.
That's interesting.
It is so silly.
The sword comparison even applies more here because it's really just like a sword just flying through the water. Like slashing it.
Yeah, so it is just like flying around through the water in like the goofiest way imaginable. Just like flying forward, but I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like in an anime when someone's like floating, but like floating forwards. I don't know. It's so silly. It's very ridiculous to look at. And this is thought to maybe help hide their silhouette in the water. So if their predators are swimming above or below them, they would only see a very, very narrow sliver, right? Because remember, they're very skinny. So if you're above it and you look down, you're only going to see a small point. Or if you're below it and you look up. It's like a weird dimensional thing.
Yeah.
Flatland.
Yeah.
Like it could be a much bigger like object, but if you can only see it from one direction, you're only going to see like that small part of it.
Sperm whales will be up and down sometimes.
And you know who eats oarfish?
Uh-oh.
Sperm whales. They're thought to, at least. And probably only when they're small. But sperm whales they'll get them. Also, when you see like footage and stuff of them and they're oriented like that, when they're really big, there's like considerably less light at the bottom of the fish than there is at the top.
Right.
So like that can kind of break up the appearance of them too.
I mean, 30 feet of depth difference is significant.
That's a lot of light. Yeah, huge light difference. So like it could be masking their size, right? Like to swim like that could be masking like the amount of fish that you can see.
I didn't like the image that I just came up with.
What?
Where like you can't actually see the end of the oarfish like in the darker portion.
Yeah, it sucks,
so like
right?
who knows how far down it goes.
Yeah, it's terrible. Welcome to thalassophobia. That's literally all I can think whenever I see anything in the water. It's just like I'm like, how much of it really is there?
Sure.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned that in the effectiveness section because there is a very interesting piece of information I found about them. Like lots of fish that spend time deep in the ocean, so they're under immense water pressure, like we talked about in your section, their bones are mostly very, very soft and bendy. You see this in a lot of deep sea fish, right? Soft bones that aren't going to snap under pressure. You don't want your bones to be too rigid if you're going to be, moving through the water column. So the bones are like that. They're kind of soft, but the oarfish also needs a lot of muscle to power their dorsal fin, because their dorsal fin is what's scooting them through the water, moving around this 30 feet of fish. So like you need it to be pretty big. These things are heavy. You need to be like, you need some oomph behind it. So a 2016 analysis of CT scans of 5 oarfish that washed up on the southern coast of California showed that 3 of them had something called hyperossification in their backbones. Oh. So if you notice the middle part of that word, the ossy part of ossification, that means bones.
Right.
So what this is are basically spots in their backbones where the bone is much thicker and harder than other places. So they have the basically like tanky, fortified backbones. Now, what's not totally clear is why only some of the oarfish had these extra fortified bones and not all of them. So in this paper, it describes that scientists think maybe it's something that develops with age. So maybe as the oarfish gets bigger and more mature, you know, those bones get thicker and harder so that the muscles can have more to attach to and they can get more power in their dorsal fin. And that paper was called Presence of Repeating Hyperostotic Bones in Dorsal Pterygiophores of the Oarfish, Regalicus russellii. That was by Misty Pigtrain et al. In the Journal of Anatomy in October of 2016. Now, here's something I really didn't expect to find, because apparently they're, to knowledge, the only fish in the world that can do this. A little something we visited in the past on this podcast, but never for fish before, a little something called autotomy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
So most specimens of oarfish tend to be found, like they washed up on the beach or they, you know, got brought up with as bycatch in fishers' nets or something. When they're found, they tend to be missing a significant chunk of their tail. Like it just ends, like the fish just ends and they don't have the end of their tail. And this seems to be like cleaved off at a very consistent spot. Like there might be some sort of like cleavage point in the tail where they're meant to break off. So this kind of leads scientists to believe that they might be able to just drop their tail when they need to, just like a lizard, right? Very weird. They're the only known fish that can do this, if they can do it. You know, nobody's seen them do it before.
Right.
But it just seems like it's too frequent to be a coincidence that they just keep falling off at the same spot. I mean, I feel like you probably need that when you're 1,000 feet long, because like you've given predators ample opportunity to chomp on your tail. Like all of their organs and like important body parts are kind of crammed into the front part of their body.
Right.
So it's like if you get a bite out of the back of it, you know, they're like, you can keep it, you know, like it doesn't hurt them that much. They're like, sure. I even saw some like suggestion that maybe they were doing it to like shed weight, basically, like if they needed to like save metabolic resources, they just like drop their tail and not need to eat as much.
Huh.
And so I give them a low score for effectiveness because it seems like I feel like they had to adapt so drastically to make up for problems that just not being 50 feet long would just as easily solve. You know what I mean? Like, you could have just not. You could have not been that big. This is a very silly way to live your life. This is ridiculous, I think.
Sure.
I just feel like they lost the plot a little bit. They have some cousins that are like, they're called ribbon fish that are like oarfish, but they're much, much, much smaller.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like, you know, I'm like, okay, maybe we went a little off the rails here.
Maybe, just a little bit.
Now for ingenuity, I'm giving them a 6 out of 10, which, I mean, just look at them. Like, look at this goober just scooting around in the water column, facing straight up like a dingus. Now, I say that now, but when they do need to move quickly, they can tilt back down and undulate their body to swim like an eel.
Oh.
So you can do it. You just usually choose not to. And I get it, you know, like moving your entire body is going to be more energetically expensive than just chilling on your back and like, you know, beating your dorsal fin to move around.
Right.
But they can do it, you know, when they feel threatened. There's ROV footage of them doing it. It's kind of cool. Once you see them do it, you're like, oh. And also, like, if you see videos of them swimming in very, very shallow water, like near a beach, you'll sometimes see like people at a beach will take videos of an oarfish that has come up to the shallow water for whatever reason, and they do swim like that. They swim like snake-like. Now, folklore has long suggested that oarfish sightings warn of an oncoming earthquake. They're seen as omens of an earthquake. So if you start to see oarfish washing up on shore, people would say, oh, that means there's going to be an earthquake soon. And this was even kind of thought to have scientific backing, because the thought process was at the depths they live in the water, they might be more sensitive to seismic activity. Maybe they can feel vibrations in the water from like plate activity. Maybe they can tell that there's going to be an earthquake. Maybe they come up to the shore to kind of get away from that, I guess. Mm-hmm. But a 2019 study by researchers at Tokai University and the University of Shizuoka analyzed 336 reported oarfish sightings and checked to see if any significant earthquakes occurred nearby within 30 days, and only found one match. Like one time did a significant earthquake occur within 30 days of an oarfish sighting. So like a very low correlation between oarfish sightings and earthquakes.
Right.
So myth busted.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it was a cool thought. Like, it was a cool idea. This is one of those things where like the science is accidentally like less interesting. And you're like, oh no, the truth was boring. Oh man, that sucks. But myth busted. And that paper is called Is Japanese Folklore Concerning Deep Sea Fish Appearance a Real Precursor of Earthquakes? That was by Yoshiaki Orihara et al. In the Bulletin of the Seismological Society of America in June of 2019. And I kind of like gave them an ingenuity deduction for this, because like they're not even strategically relocating. They're just lost. Like they just... They usually end up in shallow water if they're like either sick or injured. So like the vibes are off, right? They're like, see you later, I'm going to the beach now. And then they wind up, in water much too shallow for them. So clearly not a lot of that size was allocated to the brain. Yeah. Which, I mean, they're swimming around in a part of the ocean where they're probably not having to navigate many obstacles.
True. Point up.
Yeah.
Move a direction.
Move any direction. It doesn't matter. Any of them. They'll get you somewhere.
I'm kind of curious what they look like when they're feeding.
So they kind of like zoop their little mouth out, and they're like just sucking water into their mouth.
As they're like...
Yeah, and they have these like gill rakers, so it's like an internal sort of filter basically, that like filters out the little plankton and invertebrates and stuff that they eat. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like a like a whale shark or something. It's that thing in the ocean you see where like big animal eats much of little animal. Right. The biggest things always eat the tiniest things.
Sure.
So, that's kind of what they're doing. But that's the thing, is like they look really scary and intimidating. They don't even have teeth. Like, I was reading this interview with that NOAA fisheries scientist who has dissected them, and he specifically mentioned that during the dissection, he specifically said you can reach your entire arm down their throat and not even scratch your skin.
Well,
yeah, that's gross. So finally, for aesthetics, I'm giving oarfish a 5 out of 10. Like I mentioned earlier, they're kind of the pug of the ocean. They have that really sort of incoherent face. It's very strange. It's a very unusual face. Now, the fins are very cool because the spines do look very dragon-like. It does look like a sea dragon. And in fact, oarfish are kind of believed to be the origins of a lot of sea serpent mythology. So if you hear about like, sea stories or stuff of a sea serpent, the closest analog to that would be an oarfish.
I've heard a second one, but it's not appropriate.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I mean, listen, you can get inspiration from a lot of different places. Now, the Japanese name for oarfish literally translates to messenger from the sea god's palace, which is a reference to the underwater palace said to be the home of the sea god Ryujin and his daughter, Princess Otohime. I bring this up because this story inspired a significant part of the 2006 video game Okami. And I loved Okami. I absolutely adore that game. It is amazing. It is a beautiful game. Very fun. And in a part of that game, you travel to the sea god's underwater palace. to help. In the game, she's Queen Otohime. So like in the folklore, she's supposed to be the sea god's daughter, but in the game, she's his wife and she's Queen Otohime.
Mm-hmm.
And the water dragons in the game have a design that is heavily oarfish based.
Oh.
So they're basically like giant oarfish. The face is more like a gulper eel, because they have like the big jaws like a gulper eel, but the body 100% oarfish. And actually there's a part of it where like the king Wada, I think was his name, he is in the form of this giant sea dragon where he's like a giant oarfish, and actually part of the game you have to go inside of his body. And like there's a whole like level where you're like running around inside this giant oarfish's body. It's really cool. Very cool game. Highly I don't actually know how it's aged, because I played that game in like 2007 or 2008. So I don't know how it holds up now, but it was a cool game. And now, perhaps a controversial take, but I think the Pokemon Milotic was inspired by the Oarfish, particularly because of the long, red, sort of tendrily fins.
Yeah.
I think when you put them side by side, you can see it.
Sure.
You can see the similarities. Although Milotic is certainly a flattering and generous interpretation of an Oarfish, I think. I wouldn't have slotted an Oarfish into like a Pokemon whose whole thing is like beauty.
Right.
But listen, all right.
Because that's the Feebas evolution, right?
Yes, yeah. So like Feebas starts off as this very drab, ugly-looking fish, and like evolves. It was like the Gen 3 analog to Magikarp and Gyarados, but like the girly pop version of Gyarados. So I still think Milotic is like an Oarfish Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I wanted to say about Oarfish is that they are sometimes caught as bycatch, but their flesh is not usually eaten. So these aren't the sort of things that people will like seek out. They'll wash up on the shore, they'll be caught as bycatch, but they're not the sort of things that people usually not going out to catch these things for fun, because there's not really a lot you can do with them. I have heard the flesh described as gooey and not very tasty, although I did find one Twitter thread of a Twitter user from Japan describing his experience finding a washed up oarfish, cooking and eating various parts of it. And he seemed to enjoy it. The thread was in Japanese, so I did have to rely on like the Google Chrome in-browser translate tool for that. But I mean, he seemed to like it, but it also seemed like a novelty sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
So it's not commonly eaten, but you can eat it. It's edible. It won't leak, but it's not popular.
It's a shame. That's a lot of fish.
It's a lot of fish. Yeah. But also I think that's like good for them for not being tasty, because that's true. That's gonna cover your bases, I think. You don't really you don't want humans to find out you're tasty.
Yeah.
And that's the Oarfish.
Well, thanks, hon.
Thank you. I have a couple of little emails that I wanted to share with you from our last couple of episodes before we wrap up for today. Okay, so first up, Arya Berman, and again, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name, writes, just listen to your episode about zebras and honey badgers. It was a lot of fun. For the record, I am South African originally, so I say zebra with a soft E. We did mention that in the episode. Yeah. And I think I joked about not pronouncing it that way, me personally. But you mentioned that people do pronounce it zebra.
It's a British thing. Yeah.
So Arya goes on to say, more importantly, have you heard of the honey badger named Stoffel?
No.
Have you heard of Did you come across Stoffel at all?
I don't think so.
So I looked Stoffel up. Stoffel is a honey badger at the Moholoholo Wildlife Rehabilitation Center in South Africa. And Stoffel gained international fame for the one thing you don't want honey badgers to be famous for, which is escaping his enclosures.
Oh.
So the story goes, he was kept in an enclosure with a mesh fence. Immediately, he climbed out of it. They're like, okay, that's not going to work. So they installed a gate with 2 sliding bolt locks. So 2 separate locks that had to be slid open to open the gate. So Stoffel and a female honey badger that he was kept with named Hammy, Stoffel and Hammy, climbed the gate and held the bolts open together, teamed up, like one honey badger per bolt, held them open with their paws. There was like a BBC video on them doing this. Held the bolts open with their paws, swung the gate right open and walked out.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, all right, let's see what we can do next. So then Stoffel was put in an enclosure with concrete walls so that he couldn't climb up the walls. So instead he climbed a tree and jumped over the wall from the top of the tree.
Well...
So like, all right, let's go back to the drawing board with this one. So they cut down all the trees in the enclosure except for the ones in the very, very middle of the enclosure. So like there wasn't enough vantage point for him to climb up a tree and jump over the wall. So he dragged branches to the edge and propped them up against the wall to make a ramp. And then he climbed out that way.
I feel like this honey badger has earned their freedom.
At this point, you're like... So I think the story with this honey badger was that he had been born in captivity and like hand-raised and would not be suitable to be released. I think he had also at some point like escaped from his enclosure and was picking fights with other animals in the like rehabilitation center because I think he got like mauled by a lion because he like broke into the lion enclosure and was grievously injured by that. So yeah, just he's what a guy.
Well...
Maybe we can revise their ingenuity score.
Perhaps.
I don't know if this was a fluke. I don't know if this was like a one-off, a boy genius sort of honey badger.
Well, I'm excited to hear more stories about this honey badger.
Yeah.
I doubt it's done.
Oh, he's very old now. Yeah,
okay.
this was back in 2016 that this was like the story was making, or like 2015, 2016 he was like in the news.
Oh, okay.
And you know, that was some time ago. So he's very old. I don't know if he's still alive at this point, but if he is very old. Hojo Feltz writes, I just listened to episode 188, Brown Pelican and Przewalski's Horse, and I wanted to say I completely agree with Christian that horses are terrible and not to be trusted. Did you know there's a documented case of a domestic horse eating an entire person in World War I?
It's not surprising.
Yeah, they're right. If they did it once, they'll do it again. And this doesn't come off as super surprising to me because I think people think of like the terms herbivore and carnivore as like strict categories. It's more of a spectrum sort of situation. It's not like, oh, they eat grass, so they only eat grass. No, they will eat meat. They can and they will. No hesitation. No loyalty. The subject line on that email was Christian is right about horses.
Aha. I promise this did not come from me.
It's just you with like the fake glasses and a mustache.
I heard that guy was right about horses.
He's also really cool and handsome. And finally, Sarah Carter writes, in reference to the zebra episode, they do make zebra-striped fly sheets for horses that are marketed with the data on the stripes decreasing biting flies. Because in the zebra episode, we talked about how the zebra stripes deter biting flies. So Sarah writes, I'm an equine vet and asked one of my clients that has them if they work. She said that they do seem to, but has had some trouble with her own horses keeping them on as they try to rub them off on things or enlist their friends to tear them. So between Stoffel and Hammy teaming up to unlock their gates and these horses teaming up to tear off their fly guards, I think we're learning some important lessons about collective power. Unionize the animals.
Listen, I don't know. I think I would take the goofy looking guard over the fly bites if it were me.
If it were me, that's true. Sometimes they don't know what's good for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all we got for this week.
Well, thanks.
Thank you. This has been a fun time. And thank you, dear listeners, for spending this time with us. It's been really nice, and I can't thank you enough. If you liked what you heard on this episode, I would love it if you left a kind review for us on your podcast app of choice. You can also hang out with us online. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Discord. Links to everything will be in the episode description. You can also send in any animals you want to hear us talk about on the show to ellen@justthezooofus.com. We would like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network. If you want to go learn more about the show, the other shows in the network, like the ones that you heard promos for earlier during this episode, or if you want to go check out our bonus content, head over to MaximumFun.org. And finally, we'd like to thank Louis Zong. for our theme music, which is amazing and beautiful, and
Very.
I love it, and it makes me happy every time I hear it,
Yes, so good.
like I'm about to right now.
Bye.
Bye!
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.